Hello and welcome back to another Tom in 10-ish. Okay, so the idea around these, obviously like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, comment down below. This is a little seminar about adaptive training. It's actually something I did for when I was working with the PTC, as you can see there, PT Collective, and it's kind of, I guess what we were kind of known for whilst I was with the company, okay? So it's a really good way of kind of organizing your training as a new coach, and it's still something I do now, and really kind of pins down if you have a problem with kind of programming and if you have any kind of questions around there, okay? So this is just a snippet. I could go on for hours. If you do PT Core with the PTC, you'll see I go on for hours about this kind of stuff. So we're going to try and keep this to 10-15 minutes and just have a chat around what adaptive training can be, okay? So boom. Right, so what on earth is this? So it is balanced, it can change very easily, suited for 95% of the population, okay? So that is what kind of a flexible training model should be, and it's probably what most of the population, we're talking like 90% of the people will be using. I've used it on myself. That's how good it is. But it's something that we can discuss all the way through, okay? So benefits, it's systemized, it's gonna be personal, it changes on the fly, and it's kind of quick and high-end quality, okay? So obviously it's ideally around kind of client outcomes, but it just makes sense when you start to think about how you organize your structure, okay? So the big word here is probably a systemization, okay? So that's what we're really trying to achieve. Okay, so we can work towards all these goals. We don't really need to be specific in terms of what we're happening in this particular piece of content. All right, so we won't be going into this too much. That's for future kind of usage. But we're actually training for all this kind of stuff, right? If you're actually going to be going into detail. So muscle density, muscle size, joint health, tendon health, postural structure, mobility, stability, blah, 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 blah. Every little bit. Right, so that's what you're training for. Remember, these are your overarching goals. These are what the side effects and benefits will be, okay? Obviously limitations, powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilders, not really using that. Athletic potential, yeah, I think we can do that. Maybe a little bit of time to adapt, but we can do anything else, okay? We can gear it towards kind of hypertrophy or getting bigger. It's just probably not exactly, if you're competing in these things, not exactly what you want to do, okay? All right, we're gonna make myself a little bit smaller, put myself over here, but you're still gonna listen to my lovely voice. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So this is what a session would look like, okay? So I'll put myself in the middle. There we go. This is what a session would probably look like, right? So you've got 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, okay, all around this kind of little perfect circle, if that was your hour session that you're going to do, right? So mobility, stability up here in a quarter, so you might do some, I don't know, some stretching, some foam rolling, that kind of thing. In this little section, the speed, power, and plyometric, you might do velocity-based training, you might be doing some jumps, you might be doing some kind of cleans and stuff like that. That's where this starts to come in. Strength is your meat and potatoes of the session, so your big deadlifts, your big compounds, your big whatevers, doing your 8s, your 12s, your reps, blah, blah, blah. And then an ESD is end use system development. So that is something that people don't tend to do. They either do a lot of it, your Hyrox is CrossFit people, or they do fuck all of it, all right? So that's what the general population don't do. We don't do any of this, we don't do that much of this, and we do none of this, which is the stuff that's gonna keep you going pretty well, all right? So if we look at how we can adapt, it could actually be in any kind of ways for this, all right? So in a general health, we can see we could spend a little bit more time probably on strength, because generally people in the most population are weak, right? So we spend a little bit more time over here. So your pie will look like this, right? So split this into, it might be 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. Cool. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Right? So it's probably like a 25-minute chunk there. All right, so strength and health, which is generally what general health is, exactly the same. All right, then hypertrophy. We're gonna spend most of it in strength. You're gonna be like, oh, Tom, it's 6 reps. No, we're talking strength. It's just a foundational term for lifting load, all right? You're probably not gonna do as much in the other thing. That's where it sits. Your meat and potatoes, or you need to be putting that muscle under tension, under load for you to get bigger. Simple, all right? In these ones, you tend not to do that as much, okay? Then athletic power, we probably spend more time in power and speed and flow. We're like over half the session in making sure our body can react to what it wants us to do, okay, very quickly, and have this kind of thing called kinetic chain linkage stuff, okay? And then weight loss, we might do a little bit more of, let's say, a calorie burn if we really want to, but we never neglect the strength, okay, because that's going to be the carryover onto making us feel, look better, okay? So those timings end up for kind of seamless flow, movement quality, and coaching quality, okay? If you coach like that and everything's just gonna be clicking along nicely, that's gonna be perfect. So if we look inside a session, I made myself too big there, didn't I? Let's put myself in the corner, okay? So if we look at physical prep, we've got rolling, breathing, that might be here, so you can take a little picture of this if you really want to. So time spent in a section, 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 exercises, and this is all gonna be nice and kind of complete. If you're struggling with how to structure your sessions, this is what we can do. Sets and reps as well. Tom, they're going, what? We've only doing 1 set. Yeah, it's going to be quick. Just do a little stretch. Just do a little bit of floor mobility. I want this to be short, sharp, and kind of keeping a flow going. Okay, you should be only spending, as we said, we've got kind of a time frame. If you're looking at your clock whilst you're coaching someone, or if you're in the gym, you want to get the most out of your hour there, this is what we need to do, right? You're on the clock, boom. We're on the clock, boom. Let's keep that heart rate going. Let's keep ourselves going, okay? Light power, 4 to 6 minutes. 3 exercises. It'll be like 90 seconds per exercise. It's plenty of time, right? So it's all geared towards exercise selection mastery. The most important part of your programming, okay? So if you're looking at 2 to 3 days a week models, that is probably most of the people, right? So 6 movements per day, simple. 3 times per week, we've got 18 to 24 movements per week, which is still the same, right? And more mixture, able to hit movement patterns more often, okay? So I know a lot of coaches that use my model, which is cool. Which is exactly what it's there for, right? So we've got lower body, upper body, full body, okay? If we put these into here, then we just got to put 6 and we could blend them, essentially, and you'll see that happen, okay? And that's what you pick 3 from here, you pick 3 from there. Off you go, that's your 6, that's a perfect day. And then you just do the other ones on a different day. Absolutely fine. So this is exactly what the all-round 2-day model would look like, okay? So we've got strength focus is gonna be your first triplet. So we've got tricep. These are all done together, okay? So it'll be 1 set squat, 1 set of horizontal pulls, and 1 set core, and then back round as we go through. Cool, everybody understand that? But you can see from those exercises we had previously, there was, we had 12? Hang on a minute, there's 12 here. Beautiful. It's all coming up Millhouse. That is exactly right. So we have the squats, and then we purposely put the hinges, so more hamstring based, and the secondary movement. So we always probably do the primary movement. This one will be your hinge, like your squat, your deadlift, sorry, and you do that, okay? You can see the pull, the opposite on the other day is a push, cool, and horizontal to vertical. And then we've got these bridges, we've got split squats and core if we've got enough stuff to do, okay? It's absolutely fine. And then if we go into the 3-day model, okay, so how we adapt, switching under upper body and strength and lower body reorganization, so change the area of focus, changing reps and sets. We can move the exercise order based off the client as well, split into supersets instead of trisets. So you could do 3 supersets, so it could be squats and pull, core and hinges, horizontal pushes and split squats. It's absolutely fine, so you have 3 sections instead. That's fine. Focus on them and have like a main and then a side dish. Main, side dish, main, side dish. That's cool. I think of it as like starter and main. It's absolutely fine. Right, real training, right, 3-day a week, which is probably what we strive for, I think, to make pretty good change, which is cool. So that's when we can use everything. And then we start to get these little things like choices in here, so we can double up essentially and start to focus on something a little bit more, okay? This is a little bit more complete. If you have a 3-day a week program, this is perfect, absolutely perfect. So your primaries always go in the first bit, and then we're going 1, 2, 3, superset them, and then we've got these secondary movements. That should be 4, 5, 6, apologies. Damn it. I'm sure you realise that that's exercise 4, 5, 6. But that is all together in our little triplets as well, okay? So hopefully this makes sense. It is perfectly balanced. We've hit all 12, and then we started to double up on what we want to focus on. So say I really wanted to get my squat better, cool. So I might come down to here we got squats here. Cool, I'm gonna throw in some split squats or something, or some goblet squats, or some other squats that we haven't done here, there. And if I wanted to really focus on it even more, awesome, I'm gonna get my butt bigger. Yeah, we're gonna put it here. All right, we'll do some glute bridges and stuff like that. And then here we might even go stuff again. So that's just clearly just gone straight on. And even more, okay? So that's pretty cool. Screenshot everyone, screenshot. All right, we're running out of time. So how we can that? We change the area of focus, like we just said. If you want to focus on a particular movement or muscle group or whatever, wham it in, absolutely fine. Changing the reps and sets, I haven't gone into that whatsoever. This is just about exercise selection. That's it. And how to organize it for being a new coach, or how to get 90% of the population, this will work perfectly for, okay? So move the exercise order based off the client and gym. So if you're in a facility that doesn't facilitate those exercises being together, just reshuffle, rework, it's absolutely fine. Bring the equipment to another piece of equipment. So if you're on a rack, you're working through squats, bring some dumbbells or a kettlebell over so you can do your overhead presses with it. I don't know, that's absolutely fine. And splits into supersets instead of triceps. There's one thing that I've always been really wary of, okay? So if we went back one, we can put mobility things in here as well. That's absolutely fine. So if your choice ends up being mobility, that's absolutely fine. Okay, if you have a particular area you want to mobilize or focus on for that client, and maybe they have bad T-spine extension, cool, shove it in, absolutely fine. There's no reason why not, okay? And we can do that. All right, so we can adapt. So more choices, so 4 more choices that you can do. You can focus on particular movements. Client has a little bit of choice, a little bit of automation. You can be like, what do you want to do in this little section? That's your free choice. And all areas of movement will be addressed, okay? So yeah, so we've got push, pull, lower, upper, cross-sectional, rest times, work capacity, rest and sets and loading. That's all the things that you guys have got to go and do and realize what you're going to do, okay? Put my head on here. Pretty good, isn't it? That works. Ooh. That's perfect, look at that. Jesus, mate, if I was that stacked, that'd be all right. Exercise order, yeah, so basically, we've just got to go through pushes and pulls. They generally get paired together. You'll notice that from the exercise orders. The lowers and the uppers tend to get paired together as well. So we talk about cross-sectionals. So if I do an upper body pull, I probably want to do a lower body push, like a squat, which is more like quad dominant, hip dominant, that kind of thing. Rest times can vary. That's based off goal. You know that. So I'd say 60 seconds is probably golden for most of the population, and then just upwards of 90 to 2 minutes. Don't need to be resting any more than that for most of the population. And then work capacity, whether they can rest at all. You might not rest them. So those trisets, I don't get people to rest. They're just ticking round, then sets, reps, and loading, okay? Those are all in your wheelhouse, guys, all right? So last section is the ESD. You're just manipulating cardio, that's all right? So take a little screenshot of this. So 15 seconds work, 3-to-1 rest ratio. Most people do this wrong, and they work for far longer than they should be and rest for far little, okay? It's okay to work hard, say if you've got a 60-second bout, but just giving them 30 seconds to recover, they're not gonna get better. Let's be honest, they're not going to get better in that 60 seconds. Okay, I want replication, so it might be a 2-to-1, so rest to work. It's rest over work. You generally want to rest more than you're working because you want repeatability and your heart rate's gonna be flying anyway, okay? So I would tend to use heart rate variability, okay? So how to bring that heart rate down and go again, down and go again. That's where I want to do during manipulating kind of the ESD systems. Perfect. So take a screenshot of this. I'll just sit here quietly whilst you realize what we've done and what we've talked about and what you can do during these little things. If you've enjoyed it, drop a little like, drop a little subscribe, absolutely fine. Or if you've got any questions, it's absolutely fine. I can write a little program for you. So these are the outlines that we put together in the sessions. So we can adapt. So we've gone through which exercises, how many exercises, reps, loads, intensity, goals, exercise order, exercise section, sets, tempo, velocity. Loads of stuff, okay? So these are the 2 courses that you can do, or you can just reach out to me, get some clients. That's absolutely fine. So boom, 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 boom. We'll scroll all the way to the, well, we'll leave it on this one here for you guys, okay? Because that's probably the main focus of that thing. All right. thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. A little bit random because I wasn't planning to do it, but it gives you a good outline in terms of what your training could be. Obviously, I did this work for the PTC. If you'd like to be coached like this, please reach out to me. Absolutely fine. You can probably find some of my plans and combines that are coming up, right? So that you can go and do if you just want to have a little dabble, real cheap stuff, right? Absolutely fine. Cool, 15 minutes. I think that's about it.